guide you in what kind of strategies you're going to be conceptualizing in your school community. So I talk about this in the book, and I want to bring this to your attention. Now, it was in 1983 that Howard Gardner published Frames of Mind, The Theory of Multiple Intelligences. As soon as it was published in 83, when I read it from my perspective, from my life journey, through my experiences, I immediately saw it as a validation of giftedness. What many educators saw it was as learning styles. Well, we're just going to teach them through different learning styles. It was deeper. It was deeper. I want to ask you this question. Do you have any black males in your respective school communities who you might say are actually gifted in bodily kinesthetic intelligence? Do you have any of those? Okay. Do you have any black males in any of your school communities who you would say are gifted in visual spatial intelligence? Any of those? Okay. Would you say that you have any black males who are gifted in verbal linguistic intelligence? Okay. Here is what that research helped me to understand because of my life's journey, is that it provided a hook. How could I hook boys on learning to take them through the other stuff that was not as interesting? You know, the stuff that we test, math and science and social studies and all that. How could I hook them? But there were so many lessons in terms of how coaches have worked with boys and how band leaders have worked with boys. But then what happens with us when we talk about this demographic, we take away the very programs that engage them in learning. And then we go and look to buy a program to help them learn. Do you understand the madness sometimes? I mean, work with me. Hold on now, because again, I'm trying to bring you into my perspective. But I want to share this with you because I want to illustrate it for you how it works in practice. Here's my oldest son. My oldest son in elementary school was one of the African-American males that typically did not do his work. Do you all have any of those? Okay. When my wife and I were invited in for the conference with his teacher. Now understand, my son is in one of the top 10 elementary schools in the state of Georgia. And then he's the one who's not doing his work. I'm supposed to know this stuff. I have a reputation. By that time, I had already authored over a dozen books. So we get called in, and the teacher brings out all of his work for the conference. And she brings out all of these worksheets. And God is my witness, this fool boy hadn't done anything. And so she brings out the worksheets and she's exasperated. My wife is in the room and she's exasperated. Remember what I said about the importance of the voices in the room. Because the teacher's frustrated, my wife is frustrated. They're both female. They want him to do the work. They want him to comply. I gave the work, dang it, do the work. I'm a male. I'm looking for a hook. Guess what I saw? Just like this Native American head wrap. See the little illustration, little stick people? My boy who hadn't done any work, he had little stick people running up the side of the page. He had little stick airplanes flying across the top of the page. He had little stick people parachuting down on the other side of the page. I knew Gardner's work, highly developed in visual spatial intelligence, but I didn't realize the company I was in, because I let it blurt out. He wants to become an artist. Man, my wife elbowed me in my ribs so hard I thought she broke one of my ribs. And the teacher looked at me like, what's wrong with you, fool? This boy needs to do work. What we did was we used that as a hook because we had a long-term vision. We said if we can hook him on learning now, we know where he's going in the future. College is without question. We know he's going to college. We need to figure out how do we get him through the stuff today. What we did was we matched my son to his art teacher in every school setting. He was joined at the hip with art teacher in elementary school. He started out doing cartoon characters. We connected him with the art teacher at the middle school. Instead of a middle school rotation through a number of different wheels, he stayed with the art teacher for 3 years. As he worked with the art teacher, he just became passionate. By the time he got to high school, we had already planned the AP art portfolio on his schedule. He was developing, he was growing, he was connected, he was still playing sports, taking classes. He went into the two-dimensional art portfolio. All of that art was packaged in the 11th grade through the AP studio art portfolio. What is critical about this is that not only did it lead him into learning, it was packaged in a way that he gained admissions to Amherst College, the #2 ranked liberal arts college in the United States, with a needs-based financial aid policy. When he was admitted, see, this is what is problematic about this demographic group. When he was placed into gifted education in the 2nd grade after 1 year of art as the hook, people said, we didn't think he was gifted. When he took honors and AP classes over and over in high school because his parents had scripted and prescribed his course schedule before he entered high school, people said, well, we don't understand. We don't normally have black boys in honors and AP classes. When he received his admissions to Amherst College, the school didn't stop to say, we have a black boy in this school that was just accepted at Amherst College. Let's use him as an example to shift the cultural constructs. The school was still caught by surprise of it all. What I'm saying to you is that this was an incredible opportunity to break down these cultural barriers. We must have success in order for us to break the cultural barriers. But if we have success and don't even acknowledge it within their peer group, then they don't understand what it all means. What I really want you to understand, and for those of you who may sit here and say, oh, Mr. Wynn, well, you know, you and your wife, you're not the typical parents in all school communities. Here is one of the things that I spent a lot of time talking about in the book, is that you have to look for those parents because, bless you, because they're there. Those parents are always there. They're there in the form of grandparents and foster parents. There are grandparents in high poverty communities who have sent every child in their family to college. They're there. But you know what? We don't reach out to them. And you know why we don't reach out to them? Because we spend so much time concerned with the parents who are causing all the trouble. We spend so much time concerned with the boys who are causing all the trouble, that boys who don't cause trouble and are on the bubble, rarely do we reach and grab them and pull them over so that they are now over the fence and can show others opportunities. So